What's up with the time signatures in cats? Mateo Chavez Lewis can explain. Shalom, I'm David Benkof, the Broadway Maven. The Broadway Maven is a vibrant educational community that offers 5 to 15 classes and other expert-led experiences every month for just $18. More details at the end of the video.
We're going to look a little bit at the music of Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat today. This is one of my favorite songs in the show, if only because it's very clever the way that he uses this really weird time signature. So obviously this is kind of basic music theory. A lot of you will already be familiar with this. If you're not, that's fine, I'll get you up to speed. A time signature are these little numbers at the beginning of the staff of music that tell you how many beats are in a bar. Standard is 4 beats per bar in Western music. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all familiar with that sound. That's very standard. Another one that's also standard but a little bit less common is 3, and that's the waltz sound, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. Here, instead of 4 or 3, we have 13, which is a really strange number. And it's a prime number, so it doesn't divide up evenly. In 4/4, for example, that divides up evenly, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 divides really nicely into 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the underlying pulse feels steady. In 13 time, the underlying pulse has to keep changing because you can't divvy up the notes in an even way because it's a prime number. So here, the way that he's splitting up 13/8, and there's an infinite number of ways to do it, right? Because you can split it up however you want. But the way that Andrew Lloyd Webber splits it up in Skimbleshanks is 3, 3, 3, and then 4, or 2 plus 2. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, what we get is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right? And that all together adds up to 13. So it's this really weird time signature. Because it's a weird time signature, it means that the rhythm is really weird, which makes it fun to choreograph and dance to. So it's really smart to use some interesting time signatures in a show that is largely a dance musical because it gives the choreographer all of these interesting rhythms to play with in the movement. However, one of the challenges with using any sort of really complicated musical idea, whether that's a weird time signature or if that's a weird scale that isn't a traditional major or minor scale, or some weird harmonic idea, any sort of weird musical idea, the danger is that that is distracting to the ear. The danger is that we're so drawn to that unique sound that we're hearing that we don't hear the other information. In a musical, a lot of the time, that other information is important because it's storytelling material. So the way that Andrew Lloyd Webber mitigates that danger in this song is very, very clever. For the choruses and the repetitive sections, he stays in 13/8 time. But Leon in the chat is ahead of me. Yes, he changes to 4/4, which is a standard 4 time that I was talking about before. We get that time signature here when there's important words. As soon as we start telling the story, we switch to a time signature that's a lot easier to understand. a very simple, traditional, common time signature that everyone's familiar with, so that instead of listening to the time signature, we can listen to the words. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, because we're not listening to the rhythm anymore, we can listen to the words. There's a whisper down the line at 11:39 when the night mail's ready to depart. And it's telling us the story. So as we hear the story of Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat, we get a steady time signature that doesn't distract us. But then, when we get back to the refrain, and they're just repeating, Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat, by this point we know his name already. This is not new information. This is not important information. And then, the second line is, the cat of the railway train, which is just the different way of saying the exact same thing. The railway cat is the exact same as the cat of the railway train. So the words for this section are way less important. They're telling us things we already know. And so there we get that interesting time signature. So it's very clever how Andrew Lloyd Webber switches between this steady, solid time signature during the moments where we need to hear the words, and then this complicated, interesting time signature during the moments where we don't necessarily need to hear the words. And we keep going back and forth the whole song. You may say that by and large it was me who was in charge of the sleeping car express. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? As we hear the story, we're in that solid 4 count, and then we switch. Where's the switch? Here it is. Nope. There was every sort of light you could make it. Da-na-na. It's all, this whole story is all in 4/4, 4/4, and then we go into the chorus here. So the here this is interesting. He has a bar of 2 beats instead of a bar of 4. Cats have 4 paws. Yeah, that's true. I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that's why he chose to write something in 4/4. I think it's more because that's just what most things are written in. If cats had 13 paws and he was writing in 13/8, then I'd be very interested. Here we have a bar of 2/4, which kind of throws off the rhythm right as we get into the 13/8, which makes the transition really interesting. So rather than the cat of the railway train 2, 3, 4, Skimbleshanks the railway cat, rather than going like that, train 2, 3, 4, Skimbleshanks, we just skip 2 beats there. Cat of the railway train, Skimbleshanks the cat of the railway. 1, 2, Skimbleshanks the... So it just gives us that boost of energy because the chorus comes in 2 beats earlier than we think. So again, here's a moment where we don't necessarily need to hear the words, and what's more important is waking up the audience, giving us an interesting rhythm to latch onto with our ears, and giving us an interesting rhythm to dance to. And so that's where he chooses to use that 13/8 time signature. And this is pretty consistent throughout all of Andrew Lloyd Webber's work, where he loves to use interesting time signatures. But I think that as he matured as a composer, he developed more of an ability to identify where the moments were that he could use the time signatures and where the moments were that he should stay in a standard 4/4. For example, in Jesus Christ Superstar, there's a song that's in 7/8 time, which is the temple song. Bum 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 bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the whole song is in that 7, and so maybe some of those words might get missed by the audience on a first listen. Similarly, there's a song, Everything's Alright, which is all in 5. Dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, the whole song is in 5, 4, and so maybe if there was a section that was broken into 3 or 4, it might be easier for the audience to follow those sections. So Jesus Christ Superstar came more than 10 years before Cats, and so in those 10 years, Andrew Lloyd Webber, as he matured as a composer, became a little bit more discerning about where he's using these interesting time signatures so that he can use them to their full effect without detracting from the other important things that are going on in the song. David, back to you.
I thank you. I have a question. If I am, a part of a team, you're putting on Cats and you're waiting for Andrew Lloyd Webber's newest song to show up or whatever, and it comes and it's in 13/4. Who on the team is excited and who's panicked? Right? Is the choreographer excited because wow, I never get to put together a dance to such, or are they like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
So the the thing about the choreographer is that a lot of choreographers don't have any real music theory training, and so they will just listen to the song over and over and just pick up the rhythm intuitively. So to most choreographers, not all, and I personally obviously really like working with choreographers who can count and understand the theory behind things, but the most choreographers will go, instead of thinking of it in 13/8, they'll go da 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 ba ba sha 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 ka ka. They'll just think of it in terms of rhythm. So probably the choreographer is like, oh, this is a weird rhythm, I'm just gonna listen to this over and over. Whereas the music director is like, oh my God, I have to teach this to the actors, and I don't know if I can trust that all the actors are gonna have the music theory knowledge to follow the rhythm properly, and I'm also gonna have to stay together with the band, and then I'm gonna have to also throughout it conduct, and conducting in a weird time signature is always very difficult because there are standard conducting shapes for the standard time signatures: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But for 13/8, there isn't really a standard, so you have to kind of develop how you want to conduct it. So if you're gonna conduct it like da 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 da, oh, that's 5.
Right? Who's excited? Who's excited when they get something like that from Andrew Lloyd Webber?
No one on the creative team.
Okay.
Nobody whose job it is to execute is excited.
Okay.
The people who are excited are the people who are watching it and thrilled by it. But it makes it more difficult to execute because it's more complicated.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shalom, I'm David Benkof, the Broadway Maven. The Broadway Maven is a vibrant educational community. Every month, members may attend 5 to 15 classes and other expert-led Broadway experiences, all for just $18. Coming in February, a free class on Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice's Jesus Christ Superstar, a 4-part Sondheim class with Gail Leondar Wright, Hamilton with Juilliard professor Edward Barnes, and in March we have a class on Wicked and on Black Broadway. There's a membership link in the description, and here's a Piano Talks playlist.